So my mom has been an OBGYN for the past 25 years. She came directly out of medical school and immediately started her own private practice. Now, it's just a few moms doing what they love, taking care of as many patients as they can. She comes home each night, sometimes still in her scrubs and lab coat, with stories and stories about each and every one of her patients. She has delivered their children, she has taken care of their mothers, she knows their husbands, their dogs, their kids, their entire life story. It is these relationships with her patients that allows her to give them the greatest medical care to her ability, because she is privy to such more than just a physical aspect of their lives. It has taken the past 25 years for these relationships to be garnered. However, she is confident that they are the reason she is able to give good, quality medical care. However, recently, she has been struggling with trying to maintain her private practice and the patients within it, while so many succumb to a large corporate physician structure. These large corporate physician groups lure patients away from their long-term doctors by using technological advances that provide ease and by offering a wide range of care options that reduce wait times. However, these temptations fall short when compared to the overarching relationship between a physician and his patient of many years, which is conducive to the greatest medical care overall. As you can see here, the total number of independent physicians, these private practices that we're talking about, has decreased by almost 20% in the last 16 years. That is a huge cut in the private practices, which is contributing to the decrease in the personalization of medicine. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Patients leave their private practices for two main reasons. First of all, they perceive that the bells and whistles of the large corporate structures translate into better medical care. These doctors that we've been seeing for the past 20 years or so know us better than almost anyone. However, we as patients of this technological generation see those bells and whistles, the electronic health records, e-prescriptions, and e-visits, and we suddenly feel that our doctor of many years might not be enough. As we can see here, the groups of 11 or more physicians, these large groups that we're talking about patients switching to, have gone electronic much more and much quicker than any other group with much smaller and many less physicians. This is why healthcare is becoming very depersonalized, because patients are leaving their doctors. So though these infrastructures put in place for swift medical care are important in today's medical society, those same infrastructures cannot and should not replace the relationship between a physician and his patient of long term. Patients of today want better care, they want faster care, and they do not want to have to wait an hour to see the same doctor they've been seeing for 20 years. They want to see someone immediately. However, they want this immediate person to be invested in their life and well-being for the long term. We as patients need to realize and understand that oftentimes there's a correlation between some of the struggles of staying with our antiquated long-term physician and also receiving the highest level of care possible. Relationships cannot be formed through speedy care. Relationships cannot be maintained through a rushed and hurried doctor's visit where the end result is the only goal. Patients want connection and also convenience, but most of the time, those two things cannot be achieved together. In many of these large groups, with a wide range of healthcare providers, patients oftentimes must compromise to see a nurse practitioner or a physician's assistant. And though these employees are highly qualified to do the job, they are not invested in our long-term medical history and well-being for the long term, and therefore, they simply cannot give the same level of medical care that our physicians of many years can give us. With this, we see that 41% of patients are willing to see another doctor. That is 41% of patients willing to sever the tie between their long-term physician to go somewhere else. And it is this 41% that are contributing to the depersonalization of medical care today. So what I want to tell you is that 76% of doctors want you to know that forming a relationship with your long-term physician is the number one greatest thing you can do to get yourself the medical care that you deserve. This 76% is telling you exactly what to do to get the best care possible. So in the end, the decision is entirely up to the patient regarding which facets of medical care today take precedence in his or her own life. The relationship between a physician and his patient is something that takes years and years to forge. However, it is well worth it. My mom sees 10 to 20 patients every day, some of them waiting over an hour to see her. However, they do not cut ties, they do not get angry, they do not switch physicians, because they know that that time spent in the room with her will help them not only physically, but also mentally, because she is so invested in their lives. Her patients know that they will not be reduced to a number in a system, but they have a special place in her heart, and she treats every single one of them like family. So what I want you to know, My final message to you is to preserve the personalization of medicine. Preserve your relationships with your physician, because it is those relationships that is going to get you the greatest medical care possible. So my message to you is to stay personal, stay with your physicians, and stay healthy. Thank you.